February 3rd, and the time is currently 9:32. Do we have any comments about the minutes, any corrections from last meeting? Do I have a motion to approve?
Can I turn it on?
Yes.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Great. All in favor? Ayes?
Aye.
Okay. Minutes are approved. Today we have a number of COA on the docket. I would like to go ahead and start with the 101, 103 East Main Street because they're here and they don't have to listen to everything else we're talking about. So if y'all want to step up and tell us what you'd like to do, and please use the microphone.
So, yeah, my name is John Hines, and
I'm Sarah Hines, his wife.
and I'll go ahead. Would it be now okay to give y'all pictures now? Okay, great. Okay. If you want to take those, and then
So just to clarify for you all, there's three separate applications here. I did one big report on all of it. So if you follow along on the staff report, it's broke down as project 1, 2, and 3 with the recommendations and the findings of fact for each project. That way you didn't get 3 giant staff reports with all this stuff. So just to let you know.
Joni, is there a specific one we should start, or how do you have it in order? And we'll.
Let me make sure my microphone's on. In order, we go replace the porch decking, replace the fascia and soffits number 2, and the window replacement is number 3.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'll start with the decking here. So currently, the deck is made of 1x3 pine tongue and groove boards. And so they've been there, I don't know how long they have been there, but there is significant rot, as you can see in the pictures. There are spots where the wood has completely come up, and then in other spots, it is just, there's significant rot damage. Our proposal is that we would like to replace the deck and the decking boards with a Trex material. It is a composite wood and plastic. It's made of 95% recycled plastic and wood. We would like to replace that with that. One reason, the benefits of doing that is you would never have to paint or stain those boards. Those boards come with a 25-year warranty for no fade or color, I guess, where it wouldn't fade in color. There's also a warranty against any type of damage that's done to them, so we would have a long warranty on those. So it's easy to maintain. There's also no rot, splintering, or warping like you might have with a wood deck. And if we went back with the same material, I think one reason personally that they have rot significantly faster is because of the nature of them. They're tongue and groove boards, and so moisture is held in the boards versus where it could pass through with the Trex board. There's a small gap in the board that would allow moisture to pass through. And so that is our recommendation for that one, is replacing them with the Trex material.
Okay, so my turn to chime in, right? That is, this house, as I understood it, was built around the turn of the century, but I have recently found out it's considerably older. There's part of it that was John Nichols, probably built somewhere between 1810 and 1820. So most of the elements that you guys are looking at are not original to that original structure. They would have been added much later. That tongue and groove decking is probably fairly recent, 1960, 1970, somewhere in there, maybe even later. As always, we always want to repair wood. But if it is severely deteriorated and you all make that recommendation, that Trex material is acceptable as a replacement material. The two things that you have to do here, number one, determine if the rotting is beyond repair, and then number two, make a motion that if you accept that, that is an appropriate material.
Do I have any questions, comments from the board?
I'd like to move to approve the Trex material. I think it holds up better over time, and that's what you want in a historic district. I think if you put down wood, you're going to be replacing it in 10 years. So,
Given the photographs we just saw, do you think the deck is beyond repair?
oh, I think the underside of that deck, you're gonna have some work there. But what we're here for is the appearance, and I think the Trex is a good alternative.
Any other comments? Do I have a motion? Do I have a second to approve? Somebody's got to, I can't motion. Come on, guys.
Are we gonna trade off all day? I second it.
All in favor for approving the replacement of the deck with the materials provided?
Aye.
Any against? Okay, that passes. Got your deck.
Okay.
Next.
Thank you. Okay, so secondly, we move to the fascia and soffit of the building. Currently, those have the same facade kind of as the deck. I imagine that they are some type of tongue and groove board, maybe a 1x3 or something of that nature. We have not been up that close to see it, but from the pictures, that's kind of the facade it has. I know it is wood. There is some rot to it, and I don't really know the significance of that until we get up there and start pulling it off. But my proposal is to pull it off and replace it with an aluminum soffit, which would have, the similar, it would be a different facade, but it would be aluminum versus wood. This would increase in the longevity of it. Similar, you would no longer have any rot or damage like that. You would also be easier to maintain. It doesn't require any painting or anything like that. So once we put it up there, it would be done with for the longevity. On some of those panels I have looked, they do offer warranties on those as well against damages and things like that, anywhere from 10 to 20 years on those, depending on the ones you use. And ultimately, it would just ease in the maintenance of while we're doing it. We want it to last, and with wood, you'll always be battling rot and things like that. And so we would also just take down the existing gutters. Those are in good shape. And so once we rebuild all the soffit and fascia, we would just put the existing gutters back on and reuse those. And so that was, we just replace all that with aluminum, so.
My turn. Again, it is our guidance to always try to repair wood, always. Given that if it is not repairable, or if you all decide that that is appropriate to use the metal, metal is an appropriate material, substitute material within the historic district. There would be, as I see it, and I've looked at it a couple times, there's really no architectural detail to that soffit. There's nothing. There's no Greek key or anything fancy that really sets that soffit apart. And so that change in material would not really ultimately change the profile or appearance of that house in any way, shape, or form. So basically, the question is the wood or metal better? But metal is, the longevity of metal is very good, and it is an appropriate material within the district.
And I would like to ask that the photos that we've been given get added to their file as well, because they are very demonstrative of the damage that the
Absolutely.
house has. Thank you.
Clarification, we're just talking about the soffit right now, not the fascia, is that right?
It is both the soffit and the fascia. I think they come as one.
Yeah, so my understanding is that so the fascia is wood, and it would be replaced with wood, and then there would be an aluminum wrapping over top of that to match the soffit.
So you would either maintain or replace the existing scallop detail that's in the fascia?
On the pictures there, well, we were just talking about doing it on the second story, and so I don't.
There's no detail, it's just on the underside, there's no detail on the second floor.
Okay. Oh, so you're just talking about the second floor?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
it's a
didn't
very plain-
clarify.
That second floor is a very, very plain. It's not the
Okay,
first floor.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that second
Very
floor.
exciting.
All right.
And there
I'm
is
sorry, I
no
didn't make
real
that clear.
detail there.
But on the first floor, am I right?
Yes.
The
Oh,
scallop.
yeah.
Yes, sir, and we wouldn't, all that below it would be the fascia would be what the gutter hangs on, and so we wouldn't touch any of the part that has the green or the gold
Okay.
part on it.
I want
It
to
would-
keep that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, don't touch that.
Okay. Understand.
Okay.
Any further comments or questions? Do I have a motion?
It's my turn. I move we accept.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
Second?
All in favor to approve the COA as presented?
Aye.
Any against? Passes.
Okay.
Next.
Okay. And lastly, talking about the windows specifically in the attic. So currently there are 6 single-pane wood windows, which none of them have glass in them. All the frames, there's 4 of the 6 frames are gone. What the owner had done in the past is screw up plexiglass to just cover the holes. And then there was one that didn't have plexiglass that I screwed up plywood for right now just to keep water out of the building while we try to figure out what to do. The screws that go into the plexiglass are not really even staying in there, which shows significant damage in the whole frame itself. And so our proposal is to take out the entire frame and rebuild it to where one vinyl window would go in it. It would be one vinyl window that would be a double slider, and so it would still have the appearance of 3 single windows, but it would be one unit that would go in. The benefits of doing this is obviously right now there's heat escaping from that, and so the energy bill is significantly higher than what we would like it to be. And so replacing it with the vinyl type window would also increase just the efficiency of the window. It would hold more heat and things like that. There would also be less maintenance required. You don't have to paint vinyl, and so you would never have to paint those windows or anything of that nature. And they also offer a lifetime warranty against any glass damage, any vinyl damage, any color disrepair or anything like that. And there also is a one-time transfer of that. So if we were to go sell the building, the owner who bought it from us would have the warranty still on it. And then if they go to sell it, that's when the warranty would be void. So there's that. And then I would like to point out as well, on the 2 buildings east of us on East Main Street have vinyl siding and vinyl windows, and then the 2 buildings on it would be North First Street also have vinyl siding and vinyl windows. And so we don't feel like it's that big of a it would match the facade of the street if everything, it's that they would be vinyl as well. And we have had some quotes. We've had 5 or 6 different people come and look at the windows. They have all said they cannot be rebuilt because they're out of that original material, because there's no frame left and there's no glass left, so they would have to build a full new window. We did have Scott Lowry come by, which has done some restoration work in downtown, and he said he could not rebuild those windows. He no longer builds those, so we would have to find another source that would build those. The wood-clad windows, we had some quotes from those done. Those range from anywhere to $1,700 to $2,500 a window, with the vinyl being closer to $600. So you're looking at over 3 times the cost to replace it with wood. And so ultimately, due to budget constraints and everything of that nature, this is kind of the way that we lean of replacing with a vinyl, to where it's still a high efficiency window, and it's still, it adds value to the home, and it also just fixes what needs to be fixed. And so that's what we would like to propose for that.
Now,
So-
I have one question.
Yes,
On
ma'am.
your COA, you're requesting the basement windows as well.
Yeah, so in the basement, it's similar. Those are wood as well. They're just the single pane, double hung wood in the basement. 2 of them, there's 6 windows in the basement. 2 of them are the original, which match the first and second floor. The other 4 are picture windows, so they don't open. They're just glass panes. They have significant damage as well. 2 of the panes are busted out. And then the wood on the outside, those 2 windows did not have storm windows on them, and so there's significant damage as well in the entire frame. Scott did come by. We had the quote done for those, and those are around the same price. Scott did come by and give us kind of a quote for those, and he was looking at anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 to restore those windows. So still, you're looking at over 3 times the cost to restore it to what it would be back to its natural deal. So
want to make sure my button's on. You know, the findings of facts are the existing windows are not original to the structure. They are wood windows, and again, we always want to put wood back with wood. Unfortunately, our guidelines are pretty clear. Vinyl windows are not appropriate for the historic district. And although the buildings around you have the vinyl, they were not approved by this board under the current guidelines. So I have no choice other than to say they're not appropriate in the historic district because that's what our guidelines are very specific about. So that is my recommendation, that we do not approve because of the vinyl windows. Again, that is what our guidelines are.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, question. I agree that I think we should maintain the standards, but I just want to clarify, does what's visible from the public weigh into this at all?
Yes, if it is visible by the public, it is under the ordinance which maintains that we must follow the guidelines. So the visibility is an issue. If the back windows are only visible by the yard, but if you go into the other parking lot, you can see the back windows pretty clearly.
Okay.
I actually have a question. So are the basement windows visible?
They are. So it's a walkout basement. And so I don't know if yeah, so they would be on the doors are on the east side of the basement. So it would be right next to the building next to us on East Main. And then there's the other sets of windows would be on the south and the north side. There's no basement windows on the west side. I guess that would be underground.
Would be underground, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions, concerns? Do I have a motion one way or the other? Somebody's got to suck up and do it.
It's your turn.
Okay. Well, I'd like to make a motion to deny the vinyl windows. That's a standard. There's a reason for the standard, and I don't see any reason to deviate in this situation. A very visible structure in downtown, very nice structure, and I think we should keep it that way. So I move to deny.
Second.
Any other comments? All right, call for a vote. All in favor of denying the motion?
Aye.
Any against? No? So the windows are denied.
Okay.
That being said, please get together with Jody. There's other options out there. You
Okay.
don't have to go with the highest end stuff. And although we prefer wood with wood, the windows look like they're in awful, awful shape. So, you know, there's options.
Thank
Well,
you.
all right.
Really nice to meet you all, by the
Yeah.
way, and appreciate y'all
Thanks,
coming out.
thanks for
And-
hearing us out.
And your presentation was really nice and well done. Just
Thank you.
saying, if
Yeah.
you gotta come before us again, y'all are good.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Yeah, we appreciate it.
And let me also say that you all have the right of appeal.
Okay.
Okay, you can go within the city commission within 30 days for an appeal on that.
Okay.
In the meantime, let me get some folks to talk to you, because that's ridiculous quotes on those windows. That's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can't help you out, but you do have the right of appeal.
Okay.
We want to make sure that you understand that.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are y'all going to keep the pictures and stuff? Is
If
that
you
good?
don't mind.
Yes, that's
because
perfect.
that
Yeah,
way
that's
it-
perfect.
It backs up our decision, saying
Yes.
yes, that needed
That's
to be
great.
replaced.
Okay. Okay. Great. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, next we have 141 North 3rd Street, addition of windows to the back of the building. Full disclosure, this building is owned by Tom Ty. He is the usual chair of this board, but he is not present today. Johnny, would you mind speaking?
Sure. Let me get all my paperwork rearranged. Okay, let's see. So I went and looked. I did ask the city attorney for some clarification between what is visible by the public and the public right away. Our ordinance says if it is visible by the public. So I have yet to get that answer, although I'm going to push that issue because that's something that absolutely needs to be defined. But Given that our ordinance says visible by the public, it requires a COA because the public can see it. What the proposal here is actually is to put 3 openings in that building, and then infill them with glass blocks, which would de facto be a casement window. The openings are not on a primary facade, which goes along with our guidelines. They're located on the secondary elevations, being the side and the back. They're minimally visible. They're really of a simple design. They're not very elaborate. The treatment's not elaborate. And the pattern is within proportion to the scale of the building. So I would recommend approve without conditions.
Any comments or questions? Do I hear a motion?
Yeah. Laughable sign. I move to accept the proposal.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. It passes. Please let Mr. Ty know that he is approved on that one. Our next one is at 103, no. Our next one is at 118 East Main Street, and this is the restaurant. Is that
Red
correct?
Rooster, uh-huh.
Red Rooster, and they want to replace the sidewalks that go up to the building as well as put bollards in, and I believe they said to protect pedestrians. Could you speak to that as well?
That's correct. The sidewalks are uninterrupted from the parking lot, and they maintain an emphasis on pedestrian usage as the primary use, which is our key thing. We want to make sure that downtown is walkable and accessible by the pedestrian access. The sidewalks really do have a strong edge and connect the pedestrian access to the street entrance access. They'll be constructed of poured concrete, which is the material they're used now. I'm losing my voice. For that, I would approve without conditions. The second is the bollards. This is a non-contributing structure to begin with. The placement, the application actually said 3 bollards, but the drawing has 4. So I would say 4 bollards. If you can look on your drawing there, it indicates 4 bollards. The placement of those 4 bollards between the front entrance and the parking area will not interfere with the streetscape hierarchy. It does not disturb that at all. It will not interfere with the existing setback. It does not interfere with the openness or the transparency of the streetscape. It's very minimal impact. This is consistent with the addition of the parking area bollards in the properties within the district. We did allow that at the Valero station down at the end of Wilderness Road probably a year and a half ago. So that precedent has been set within the district, and it really doesn't interfere with any of the district commercial features that we're concerned with. So again, I would approve 4 bollards for, as reflected in the site drawing without conditions.
Any comments or questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the sidewalk and the bollards.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, it passes. Please let them know. Next, you had one administrative approval?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. That was, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. It is for a basic sign, a vinyl window sign, and then they also replaced the roof sign that's already in existence there. That is all within the guidelines required by the Architectural Review Board. So I approved both of those signs without conditions.
Number 5, we have recommendation to planning and zoning on amending the historic overlay district boundary. How does that look?
Correct. So if you all can see there in front of you, I have the addresses for exclusion within the historic district overlay. I give you a brief summary of why those need to be excluded, and then my 2 very crude maps of the buildings that would be excluded from them. The above addresses, they are not contributing to the period of significance for any of the historic districts that currently exist downtown. There is only one structure, it's 116 South 5th Street, that's probably built in the 1940s, but on its own, it is not eligible for inclusion in the National Register, neither would that constitute a district. So none of those structures are contributing to the district, contributing to the overlay, and would not be able to stand the test for individual listing for the National Register. These are problematic areas in that they are commercial enclaves into the historic district. They don't really fit our mission. And so I am recommending that these are removed from the historic zoning overlay. And Michaela is here to help us with that if we move forward on that process. So it would be my recommendation to exclude those above listed addresses.
Any questions?
Just say that I don't know why those structures were ever in the district in the first place. So I think this is a good move, surprising that a retail sign brought this up as an issue, and I'm glad we're able to solve it by changing the district. I would move to approve the new boundaries.
But I don't know why that district map got drawn as it was. I suspect people just followed the lines of the street, but within that, you have the Super America. So those are going to be problematic, and before Michaela comes, Steve, Hunter, and I were already debating on some of these issues about how this really didn't fit the historic overlay. So this was kind of in the works to begin with, and then we had some changes of personnel and COVID, which messed up everything. So I think this absolutely is following our guidelines and what we need to do. And do you need anything from us specifically? Sure.
I think I'm gonna verify this with our attorney, because I haven't gone through the process of having planning commission initiate a zoning map amendment of this kind, but I think what we would do is take a recommendation from this body, and I'd bring that recommendation to planning commission, and they would go through that process. So essentially, we're looking at a zone change that's similar to whenever we add something into the historic overlay district, like we just did with the Lanier Tolliver House. So it will go through planning commission, they'll make that recommendation, and then it's gonna have to go to the legislative body, so city commission in this case, and have the 2 hearings to get approved. So I think we'll just take a recommendation from you all. If you just wanna go with Joni's list here, if you wanna add any additional information or documents, I'm happy to add that to the record to bring it forward.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
And we did have a motion, so second.
All right, all in favor of going with the change in district as outlined by Ms. House? Aye.
I
Any against? None? Please, run with it. Thank you so much.
Michaela, let me know if you need anything. Do you think that this is sufficient for?
I think it should be sufficient.
Okay.
And I'll take it to planning commission, and if they've got questions or they want me to bump it back, you guys get more info, I'll let you know.
Yeah, and let me know when the commission meeting is, and more than likely I can attend to be there if there's any questions. Okay?
That'd be great. I think it would be best if you presented it.
Not a problem. Happily to do it. Thank you, ma'am.
And welcome.
Thank you, appreciate that. It's nice to meet you all.
Pleasure.
For the record of the minutes, may I know who this is?
What's that?
I need to know your name, I guess.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Yeah,
Figured that out.
I'm Michaela Gary. I'm the new planning and zoning director here. So I
Say
took
your
over.
name again.
Michaela Gary.
Michaela Gary.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's a hard name to spell, but yeah, so I took over for Steve back in late October. So I've been here for a few months now, but
If I could find my agenda, do I have it on the agenda?
You do, yes,
Yeah.
yes. It is the,
spelled correctly on?
oh, on the,
let me check.
maybe it isn't on the,
Oh,
no,
no,
her
you
name.
don't have her name.
Mm-mm.
No, I think you just included it in the email saying that it was coming. Yeah, so.
Do you need the appropriate spelling?
That would be, so we don't have to change the minutes.
Yes, ma'am. Can you
All
spell
right.
it for us?
Yep. Mikaela.
A-U-L-A?
Ae.
Oh, A-E-L-A.
Yep, so Mikaela. Gary, Gerry. All right.
Part of it right.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Now, next we have another boundary change, but this time it's an addition. The Lanier Tolliver House designation, and I just want to take a moment to thank Steve Ellis at the Public Library. Last year, he did a lot of the original research on this building for the property owners.
I wanted to report back to you that it is now a standalone landmark within the historic district. It was passed unanimously by City Commission on the 23rd of January. So we have now 3 standalone landmarks that this board has helped add to our historic district. We will need to redo the GIS maps of that, but I'm going to wait until we have all this done so that we can do it all at one time. So you'll probably see a new GIS map here within the next couple months. So big win, property owner's very, very pleased with all that. She's tickled to death. As a matter of fact, she just texted me, is everything okay? I see it's on the commission this morning. I'm like, no, this is just a report that it's done. So very smooth process, and I appreciate your all's work on that.
Yay, makes us very happy. It's like good news, yay. And because this is a special called meeting and there is nothing else on the agenda, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
All right. Thank you all very much.